Thanks so much, everybody, for hopping in. This is a new episode. We have a great guest today. My name is Fernando Corona, the host of the Sage Executive Podcast. So, without further ado, let's get started. Question number one, please. Can you share who you are and what your clients say you do?
So my name is Brianna. I'm the co-founder of CrewBloom, and CrewBloom connects companies with the top 2% of affordable global talent. So CrewBloom's enabled a remote work model that empowers us to pay livable wages. I think our client partners have been able to build trust in the remote model, given our free trial period. So you can try CrewBloom out. If you're unsatisfied, we'll refund you in full. And although it rarely happens, it's just like really important for folks that have never outsourced. And then we also let them hand select their team. So just hopping on a video interview is really powerful because I can say that my folks are incredible, but it really empowers them to see for themselves.
Awesome. And what industry are you primarily serving, or what kind of tasks?
Yeah, so we do all professional roles that are non-technical. So we have virtual assistants, folks that are doing email support, chat support, inbound and outbound on the support side, and as well as sales, social media marketers, bookkeepers. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Question number two. Can you share a time, and I think you already mentioned a little earlier before we started recording, when one of your team members or, a time where you really exuded leadership or your team really exuded leadership?
Yeah, so I think that one of the things that I love most about my job is just that we've built a really empathetic culture. And so, right now, obviously, the environment is unique and something that, although we had disaster strategies in place, this was something that we had never encountered. And given that our folks are global and that requires us to transact globally to ensure their livelihood and pay is taken care of, during the COVID crisis, my team brought forth that we think pay should be processed early. And we were able to put resources together and get that done. So, just something I know a lot of my team members really appreciated, and their families and loved ones that they're taking care of.
Yeah, big time, especially with that global impact. I mean, some of them were probably affected before we were, right? Here in the States.
Yeah, of course. Mhm.
Awesome. No, that's great. Question number three. So I hear from other execs that acquiring clients can kind of just be a challenge with varying strategies. What have you found that maybe you used to do and it used to work versus what you're doing now and what's working now, or kind of what you're testing? Just go ahead and share a few different strategies that you've used in your company.
Yeah, so of course the challenge is always new business, right? And we have pretty rigorous revenue goals to hit quarterly, and so constantly mining new challenge or channels of sourcing revenue is essential. So not only right are we focused on things just like improving our demo process and what our outbound content looks like and our marketing strategies, but we really dove into driving organic and our organic conversion rates this quarter,
Mm,
and it's kept us afloat during COVID. So we feel good about it. Another thing,
awesome.
right, is just really clearly communicating what our existing clients' journey has been. So I think sometimes that conversation or approach makes us feel uncomfortable to approach our existing clients and say, hey,
Mm.
look, like I need you to make a short video about what it's been
Yeah,
like.
video testimonials are great.
Um, so yeah, we feel fortunate and are working hard every day to do better.
Great. Okay. And this is next question is a good opportunity for you to share with other execs your trials and tribulations or anything you'd like to share, some advice. And so go for it. What sage advice would you like to share with others?
Whew, good question. So I think obviously in the for-profit space, oxygen is or the oxygen of business is revenue, and so the more comfortable we can get speaking about that with our mentors and folks that are helping us is just really important. I know me being female, we don't have equal pay because we just aren't comfortable talking about money, and so that's
Mm,
really important. And just to be bearish with expenses, like you can think you're going to make money, but in the startup ecosystem in particular, it's good to have something tucked away. Also, just like the ego that comes into play with the entrepreneurial journey. So I think that one of my best spiritual mentors said, like the really two things that define any human being is fear and ego. And I think it's really tough because when we're leading or in a founder role, we care a lot about what we're doing. And so it's really challenging to really identify when something's not working and to change that.
Yeah, no, that's true. So what have you found, I guess, really quick, what have your mentors suggested that when you feel that kind of coming on, whether it's fear or it's ego, what do you do in those moments?
Yeah. So I think like overcoming ego just takes time, right? Like if we can really focus on and revisit life and our journey on planet Earth not being defined by other people's perceptions, it's just going to pay off in spades. Because, yeah, of course, right? Like that's just we spend a lot of time making projections that are unimportant. So I think that's a pretty personal journey. And then fear, I think, just like coming up and approaching fear as well. Like if we challenge ourselves and do things that are scary and we get that done, we're just
You
more
prove that
fearless.
you could do it. You
Yeah,
prove that you got over it. And
sure,
it's
yeah,
like, I mean, and then I like to remind myself a little bit, because I think, yeah, as you're continuing to grow and make yourself uncomfortable, the fear, you want it to stop, and maybe it doesn't ever stop. I don't know. I haven't lived my whole life.
right.
But yeah, one of the things is reminding yourself, like, we were fearful of something at some point, and then we surpassed it and we moved past that. That's absolutely.
Yes.
The fifth question, moving on.
All right.
What what top leaders within your network, like yourself, on LinkedIn or off LinkedIn, just that you really appreciate, that you'd recommend hopping onto the podcast and sharing their insights?
Ooh, so I'm really fortunate. I have a lot of really brilliant people in my life. One person that just comes to mind first is someone named Esther Deutsch. She oversees ops at RCS. They're just a technical consulting firm. And just like the way that she approaches her team and leadership, just like in the utmost empathetic structure, she's so well connected and hardworking and wise. She's just so humble. I could write a thesis length novel on the one that's the best.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna shoot another podcast about it.
I've learned a lot from her. I recently connected also with Dani Pascarella. She's the founder of InVibe. And like there was just something that stood out on our call, like how persistent she was to not deviate from her company core values. And I just found it really impressive because so easily we become consumed and obsessed with revenue. But I think it's most important to prioritize and value humans and what our
Yeah.
ethical convictions tell us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
The last question here, that you can go ahead and share, the fun side of how you might celebrate a win, and how you classify a win can be totally up to you.
Here's so we have a weird culture at CrewBloom where we actually recognize shortcomings and fumbles also because we can learn from them.
Yeah.
We're really fortunate to have wins often, and so we have monthly happy hours where we recognize folks as a team and also individuals. I spend a significant amount of time with my team. I spend a lot of time in the Philippines. We get an Airbnb. We have cooking competitions and
Oh,
karaoke.
wow.
Yeah.
And so a fumble, like, so you have them actually do like a learning, like, you dropped the ball, but what did you learn from it? And let's kind of have some drinks around it.
So actually, we have a monthly humble huddle, and we
Mhm.
just go around robin. We just talk about things that we fell short on and become really comfortable with vocalizing our shortcomings, and we can learn from them. And so, yeah, it's just a little bit unique to Crew Bloom in our culture.
That is nice. That's nice to add to that culture. So Brianna, how can individuals reach out to you and connect? How can they learn more about your company?
Yeah, so CrewBloom, CrewBloom.com. It's our handle on all social media channels, so Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then personally, I'm super keen to help out and connect with anyone. Personally, Brianna Carney is my LinkedIn, so don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm so keen to help in any way I can.
Yeah, no, I'll share that in the show notes as well. Thank you for being on, and looking forward to seeing how, Crew Bloom continues to have success.
Cheers. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem.